Seattle, Washington. The only place in Washington big enough to hold Powerbomb Weekly live and back. Why Seattle? Because only a city this grand, this majestic, this amazing can handle the power and the strength of Michael Burdett. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Powerbomb Weekly, a special broadcast following tonight's AEW pay-per-view, WrestleDream, the stupidest name of a pay-per-view ever.
No objections there.
Our hosts, he is the greatest wrestling mind ever. He has compiled all the knowledge of Bobby Heenan, Jim Cornette, Captain Lou Albano, and that one-legged Zach dude. He's a wrestling aficionado.
We only have 30 minutes.
Shut up!
He is 30 minutes.
He is an amazing man, and even more so, he's a wrestling scholar. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the one, the only, the legend, Michael Burdett. And his co-host, Joey. Okay, guys, so we've just had an evening together. By the way, we have millions of people here to watch. By the way, I'm still the voice of Powerbomb Weekly. This is K-Dog. But we've had the opportunity tonight to enjoy WrestleDream, the first ever WrestleDream pay-per-view held at the Climate Pledge Arena, Brothel, and Horse Shop. And we got to see some really great action tonight by AEW. I thought a quality pay-per-view. Joey, what did you think about tonight's pay-per-view? I'm sorry, people want to know what Michael thinks first. Michael, what did you think about tonight's pay-per-view?
On the way over, we had the conversation about this is the new, moving forward, WrestleDream. It all starts new, according to AEW and Tony Khan. That was a WWE show.
I agree. Disagree.
That was absolutely a WWE program.
No, that was a WCW show.
No, it was not a WCW show.
That
was a WWE program, and I think it was a step in the right direction for them because we didn't have a bunch of stupid things happen.
14 matches!
And I think luckily Moxley getting dumped on his head and getting cussed out of the arena stopped us from having a bloodbath in the middle of the show. So good for them. I think Phoenix got hurt.
Oh no, he definitely got hurt. All right, so for this format,
I guess it's payback, right?
I have a comment about
Karma comes to collect.
I actually have a comment about this. So what we're going to do is basically just go over each match.
Hold on. I asked a question. Michael Burdett followed the formatting and answered the question. Joey, just as an overall, what did you think of tonight's pay-per-view?
I thought that the pay-per-view was pretty good. I enjoyed most of the action. I think that it's better than some of the Raws and SmackDowns I've seen there. But it felt very much like a WCW pay-per-view, not an AEW pay-per-view or a WWE pay-per-view. In the sense, the only thing that felt WWE is the fact that no titles changed. Spoiler.
Didn't Swerve Strickland win a title tonight?
No.
Well, he didn't win.
He just won
the match. He didn't get a title.
Something like that. No.
Okay.
So I have all the matches, and then we rank the matches, you and I, and then
yes. And we'll get.
Before we get too far into it, we should probably give a little bit of the backstory. Joey decided to not invite me when they were purchasing tickets for the show.
That is so not true.
When he asked me if I was going to AEW Collision, because let's back up for a second. Remember, Collision was announced first, and then WrestleDream just got added, probably because they realized they had a great deal on this building and decided to announce a pay-per-view here. Joseph was like, hey, are you going to Collision? And I was like, no, tickets are a little bit too much right now from where I'm at, because when I looked, they were $800 for some reason. Then they announced the pay-per-view. Joseph does not feel the need to invite me, but he takes K-Dog here with him, so I sat on the other side of the arena purchasing my own ticket.
So
the low cost of $100.
Ron, the fill-in host of Powerbomb Weekly once or twice, asked me and Kevin if we wanted to go to the show. And Kevin said, yeah, and we said, yeah, absolutely. We'd love to go see Collision. And he said, oh, never mind, I can't get tickets. Do you want to go to WrestleDream? And we was like, yeah, let's go to WrestleDream. And then he backed out of that. So I was like, well, it was just me and Kevin. No, I did not think of you because...
You see, he did not.
Because...
And you know who has also forgotten? How quickly they forget about you. Because no one cared about my CM Punk chant. No one. I tried, and it died a death very quickly.
And the lesson we should take out of this is, no matter whose fault it is, it's not K-Dog's.
That's right.
Okay, let's talk matches. So, are we going to go over the pre-show matches, or you want to dive right into the pay-per-view?
Yeah, so the first match was Athena, Keith Lee. It was a mixed tag match of a four-way, 8-man, four-man, 4 women.
There was 2 chicks on either side, and then some dudes.
So Athena...
And that's a whole different video if you really think about it.
Athena, Keith Lee, Satoshi Kojima, Billy Starks versus Lee Moriarty, Mercedes Martinez, Diamete, and Shane Taylor. And by the way, Billy Starks was just happy to be there.
You can see Keith Lee from fucking orbit.
That boy's a big boy.
So big.
And so was Shane Taylor.
I've seen Keith Lee before, and he has cut a lot of the weight that he put on with, I think that's why he's been in a bunch of these mixed matches. I think he has lung damage from the COVID that he had.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I understand completely, but dear God, when that man walked out, it was like, that's Keith Lee. He is Big Show size. Like, you cannot not see that man.
So, the match was a decent first match. It kind of went back and forth. Athena, the big thing was Athena was trying to do moves on the men, and she kept getting cut off until she got the one.
A lot of overacting. A lot of hammy overacting on her part, but she did get to actually hit that jumping neck breaker thing that she does, and for once she actually hit it.
And Billy Starks, like I said, was just super happy to be there, so overexcited.
Is that her character now? Is she just like...
So,
if
both...
she was Eugene. She was Eugene.
She's Eugene, yes. She was Eugene. That's a great comparison.
Both Kevin and I gave it 2.5 stars on a 5-star.
Are we doing star ratings?
A 2.5. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, since the Meltzer Cornet scale
What
is
would you put
broken,
it? Then how do you want to rate it?
I don't know. Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. Wasn't that what we were doing?
Well,
last
if we
time?
do thumbs up, thumbs down, then every show on the pre-show was a thumbs down. Like
It was a thumb 3/4 erect.
Well, if I...
Oh, yes.
Yes. If I have to give a star rating, it was a 2.5 because it was there, but it wasn't bad.
Okay, so...
And if we start talking about number of erections, this
We're just
becomes a
gonna do
whole
stars.
different
We're
website.
gonna do stars.
With 2 girls and
But did you
30
notice?
guys.
Did you notice Keith Lee left as soon as the match was over and just abandoned his teammates?
Yeah, because
He was done.
he doesn't care. He got his money. He doesn't care.
All right, so the next match. That's enough said about that. The next match.
Do I get to say what I thought of that?
Oh,
one?
sure.
I thought it was a shit show. Next.
Okay, you gave it 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
The next match was local boy Josh Barnett versus
Josh Barnett's from Seattle, Washington.
Versus Claudio Castanola, aka
With special surprise, buddy John, Mr. Moxley,
Yeah, he was on commentary.
walking around and got on commentary. I can only imagine what he had to say in commentary.
So both.
Claudio is so over.
Yes.
My God, I cannot think of someone next to like a Luger or in that vein of someone who is so good and over, and yet they're never figured out what to do with him.
So, what were your thoughts on the match?
I thought that match was fucking dope.
Okay,
That match was so good.
I thought the match was a 2-star match.
That, no.
Kevin agreed because Josh Barnett was trying to turn a wrestling match into an MMA match, and it did not translate.
Do you people know what wrestling is? Like,
No, I
shoot
was-
wrestling?
Yes.
I thought it was great that Josh Barnett got allowed to wrestle. I think it's glad they let Grandpa out of the home. I'm glad he didn't need his
He was
walker.
winning.
And then what was the bullshit at the end? Like
Yeah.
at the end, he loses the match and then he has to get on the microphone and put over Claudio
Does
like Claudio needs
need
it.
the Josh Barnett rub.
You have to remember,
I need a
there's
rub.
a couple things. One, Barnett was clearly not on his cycle because he kept his t-shirt on. But
And he was winded after the match.
Barnett, this whole show was meant to honor Antonio Inoki, which is how the show started. I'll tell you a funny tidbit too about Tony Khan not being able to get out of the ring when the lights were off. It was quite amusing watching him trip over the middle rope. But
Isn't that how
it was
Vince
meant to
tore
be
Claude?
Inoki. Barnett's big in Japan. He fought with New Japan. He knows use Inoki. You know, that's why he was there to give the rub of. That's why he said Inoki-san would have approved of you, and that's what he was there to get over. Was that Claudio is so good that Antonio Inoki would have said, "Give me this guy."
Who did Muda wrestle against later in the night?
Who?
Wheeler Muda.
Who did wrestled Ricky Starks.
Okay, I would have much rather seen Claudio against Ricky Starks. Like, Claudio is far too talented to be on an undercard.
The next
Off
match.
A lot of people on this show.
awful.
So so you gave it a 2. I gave it a 2. You want to give it more than that?
I give that like a 3.5 star.
Okay.
That was a good.
He's drunk. Okay.
The
That was
next
a great
match.
match.
The
Watch
next.
the transitions.
The
Great match.
next match was Nick Wayne versus Luchasaurus.
Nick fucking Wayne got a huge chant in the audience
Yes.
by what I just said. Everybody did not care about PG tonight. As soon as he came out, the crowd went nuts. A lot of Defy, a lot of chants for Defy tonight, which was very cool. And my God, Luchasaurus is another guy.
He's huge.
He's so big.
The best-
I've never seen Luchasaurus live. He's so big. And he's so... The thing that I like is, have you noticed that Luchasaurus isn't doing stupid shit anymore?
Right.
For the most part.
We haven't put him live yet.
No, we haven't.
Oh, there we
There's
go.
the beat. Yeah. He's not doing dumb stuff. He needs simple stuff. This is my show. Shut up.
We're delayed.
We're delayed even more. Wait, did they say we're delayed until 10:40?
Yeah, we're delayed another 30 minutes.
Why?
Which means this will be almost as long as a real Powerbomb Weekly episode. Go
As
ahead.
long as your battery lasts.
Yes, okay. Moving on from pre-show.
So no, we have. Nick
Moving
Wayne's.
on from pre-show. Oh, that's right. We're on the
Nick Wayne's
Wayne
mom
match.
was kind of pretty. She was in the front row for this and a later match.
Calm down, thirst trap.
I gave this match a 3-0, 3 stars. You gave it 2.5.
The choke slam onto the ring apron was really cool.
Was pretty-
because it
pretty
happened
boss.
On my side, if anybody saw the show and saw up in the corner me looking like this with a mask with stripes on, that was me. If you saw me in the corner,
He looked very Bernie Sanders, just sitting there. Yes.
Oh, I was so happy because at first I was like, oh, there's nobody around me, and then people slowly came in around me, and I was like,
Every time I was like, look, Mike's clapping. No, he's not. Oh, he is.
I was clapping. I did clap for this. Buddy Wayne Kramer, Wayne fucking whatever his name is.
He got tossed around.
He got tossed around a lot, which was cool.
And then finally, the last match.
Do you want to have any thoughts to give on that match?
He got tossed around a lot. It was a 3-0 match.
You got beat like a redheaded dog?
Yeah. I mean,
The one
Luchasaurus was
thing-
impressive and big.
The one thing that was cool, though, that we'll get back to later is because of the choke slam over the top of the rope onto the ring apron, his ribs were taped. When he came back out later with the other thing we'll talk about.
The last match on the pre-show was the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus TMDK.
Everybody on my side of the arena blew their voice out on this match.
This match was loud.
It was so loud.
Billy Gunn was the most over thing in the pre-show.
Did you notice how good of a veteran Billy Gunn
He
is?
was.
though?
He absolutely was. I can't stand the
He
Acclaimed.
directed traffic so well. He messed with, because Aubrey was the referee. for
Yes.
this, but he messed with Aubrey and like got. It was watching Billy Gunn was awesome, and he was definitely on his cycle because that man is also just still jacked for his age. But when he would pick someone up and slam them, he would always manage to get them in position for when the next sequence would happen. And I was just amazed at watching Billy Gunn.
Yeah, it was way too. I don't care for the Acclaimed just as far as I don't care for the scissor thing.
What's wrong with Scissor Me Daddy?
I don't know.
That's the grossest, weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I just don't care for. I've never really cared for them before they were popular. Yeah, they're not popular. I don't. There's something about that.
I dare you, when you two go home to your wives tonight, I dare you to ask both your wives to scissor you and let me know what happens.
Max Caster's rap was pretty good, where he made fun of them for being from Japan and liking tentacle porn, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good rap.
I gave it a solid 3 stars. You gave it 3 1/4.
I think 3's okay.
Yeah.
It was not, in my opinion.
We knew TMDK was not winning.
It was not as good as the Barnett,
Oh.
Claudio match, in my opinion, because they did something. Now, obviously, it's 2 different styles of match.
Oh, sorry.
But they knew how to hype the crowd up, knowing that they were going into the paper.
Sorry, the first match, the face team won. The second match, Claudio won, which we did mention. The third match, Luchasaurus demolished Nick Wayne.
Yeah, he just killed.
In the third match, the Acclaim won. So then we start the actual pay-per-view. First match, and MJF is absolutely taking a note out of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's playbook.
Go home early.
I am the star, put me on the first match.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
it was MJF versus...
Huge reaction.
Oh my gosh. MJF versus it's
The
Dutch.
TMDK.
No, that was WrestleDream. It's Dutch and Vincent, which their new name is.
Who are members of the TMDK?
No, they
or
are
whatever they're
not.
called.
They are. I have it right here.
Don't worry, I'll wait.
Good.
We have 40 minutes to wait here.
We're
They're
talking about battery
called the
dies.
Righteous.
The righteous now.
Yes.
So then why did they?
As opposed to Joey, who's known as the self-righteous. But go ahead.
But I like their little snap. It's kind of cool. It's kind of catchy. What do you call them? The
Wait, who the fuck am I thinking of then?
They were the people in white.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I forgot that we were switched to the MJF match.
Yeah,
It was
MJF.
the righteous, yes.
They're the what you call them?
'Cause it was Vincent
the
and-
Colty White, the
Fat
Colty
He
Wyatt
was-
family.
He was right.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Sunshine, the hippie Wyatt
Hippie
family or
Wyatt
something.
They're
Yeah.
the Manson family.
Yeah, they are the
They are
Manson.
the
Yes,
Manson
they're
family.
very
MJF got on the mic as soon as the show started. He did the whole thing. He peppered the crowd. He told them, "I'm going to body slam you, fat boy, and I'm going to shove your head up fat boy's ass."
White boy with the dreadlocks. Gonna shove your head up his ass.
MJF was good. It was great to see him do MJF things.
A year ago, I would never have believed that he could pull off being a face. But,
I mean, he's an anti-hero.
right, he's a scumbag.
Yes.
You're a scumbag.
Yes.
He's the
yeah.
original Stone Cold.
And he made reference to the show, which was good, about Mask being stolen and all this other stuff. He had a job and he did his job very, very well. There's a reason he's going to probably get the biggest contract ever here
And
next year.
he can wrestle.
But he didn't wrestle shit on this. He did not wrestle anything for WrestleDream.
I mean,
What he did was
He
He
wrestled-
entertained.
he wrestled a match from 1986,
he absolutely
which was great.
He wrestled. He basically step for step did the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant match with
The pickup with the body slam, and he couldn't get him up, and then he fell,
Yeah.
which was really.
And he did the Ultimate Warrior ring shake at one point.
That's been one of MJF's things. Yeah.
Yeah, but so it was
he
great.
had a great
When he
MJF match.
When he missed the body slam, he went out to get one of the women ringside to give him a massage. And some dude started rubbing, whack that dude's hand away.
I think the smartest thing AEW has done is build around MJF.
Yeah, I mean, when they lose him next year, it's going to not be good for them.
Well, he's not talking about the bidding war of 24 anymore.
Well,
How are they doing since CM Punk left? Never mind. Joey?
So I gave it.
okay, they have money freed up now for MJF. I
I
guess.
gave this match 4.5 stars. You gave it 4 stars. It was the first really good match of the night, in my opinion.
It was the first match of the night.
There were 4 matches before this.
But
Going back, I recramped my 4.5. It was I shot a little early.
it was a 4. You're saying it was
Not
a
the
4?
first time Joey said that.
It
You're
was a
saying
4.25.
You're 4.25. So you are saying that this match, MJF versus 2,
Jobbers.
weirdos, right, is on par with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
I'm talking. Well,
Well, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels would have been a 4 3/4 match easy.
I mean,
I'm grading it on the curve of the show as it was.
According to the Meltzer scale, you just gave this the same.
I don't give a damn about the Meltzer scale. This is the Joey scale.
It's a 4.5.
What did you give it?
match.
What'd you give it?
I gave it like a 3. It was fine. It was
Okay.
cool.
All right. Next match.
Because 3 is middle of the road for us, right?
Yeah.
4 is really good. 5 is extraordinary. Oh my god, I shit my pants.
Okay, so the next match was
I have a lot of fives.
Kingston versus Shibata.
That was an awful match.
Cool saying Shibata. Everything that Cornette said when he previewed this card.
Yeah, we know, we heard.
Yeah.
We heard.
Thanks, guys. You're interrupting the show.
Tonight's show brought to you by the Washington State Ferry Systems. So messed up, they have to remind us of it. 10:40. Thank you. Go ahead, Jay. Shut up, Captain.
Yeah, so, you were saying.
As I was saying,
Everything Cornette?
Cornette said about how this match would go, and exactly how we talked
It
about how this
absolutely
match would go in the car is exactly how it did. They punched each other a lot, and then they did some stuff to each other, and then they slapped each other in the chest a lot, and then they hugged it out.
I put.
Shibata, though, super over in my section.
Yeah,
All the
he was
Japanese
over all
talents
over the
super
place.
I gave this 1.5. Kevin gave it 2.5.
Star match.
Huh?
You're saying that this was like the equivalent of the Bushwhackers versus like Demolition.
Yes, this was a
Pretty close.
1.5 star match. You gave it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was too slow. It was too repetitive.
It was the wrong match to start to be after MJ.
So it was like you said, they did this, then they went back to this, then they did this, then they went back to this, and then they did it. And, it just
And Eddie Kingston
recycled
doesn't.
flow.
Eddie Kingston doesn't inspire me. There's nothing about watching Eddie Kingston do a match that it makes me want to watch the
Eddie
match.
Kingston's story is better than his wrestling.
It's interesting that you mention that because when Kingston's came out, everybody went, yay! And then Kingston got in the ring and everybody went, and no one cared what Eddie Kingston did from my perspective where I was at. Everything Shibata did, super over because it's fucking Shibata.
Yep.
It's the anointed Antonio Inoki protege, you know. So
Came back
everything
from
he
life.
did
Came back from death.
having his brain falling out of his head. You know, everything super over that he did, and Kingston got the pop for the handshake hug at the end that they did. And yeah, anytime Eddie Kingston was doing stuff, I heard people behind me screaming, "Fuck you, Eddie!"
We had some of that on our
Yeah,
section
they
too.
didn't care. They didn't care. This guy works better as a heel.
If you need to find somebody to become the next headliner for the Juggalo Wrestling Tour, it's Eddie Kingston.
Well, I'm not going to bash his physicality for it, but he works better as a heel.
Yeah.
He absolutely works better as a heel.
Cheat.
Yeah, he should have came out and said, "I'm going to kick the other half of the brain out of your skull."
Yeah. The next match was Statlander versus Julia Hart. Oh, and by the way, Kingston did win that match.
Yes.
Yay!
Kingston got the multi-gauntlet belt thing.
Statlander versus Julia Hart for the TBS Championship.
Julia Hart's never looked so good.
Beast.
She is.
Julia Hart looks cool. Her entrance. I don't understand. This is almost a WWE problem. Of they spend a lot of money on her entrance, on her look, on everything going on around her, and then she loses. The biggest pop out of that whole match was Statlander fireman carrying her up the steps, and then Julia Hart doing the moonsault.
Right.
And
But-
everybody went nuts when she did the moonsault.
So the coolest part of the Julia Hart story is that it's the best long-term booking AEW has done.
Yeah.
That story is a year old.
Yeah.
She was a cheerleader. She got sprayed in the face. Then she was a little depressed.
Pillman
cheerleader.
isn't even there anymore.
Yeah.
The whole thing that started this, Pillman is in the WWE now.
But her character is still a girl who got sprayed in the face.
You
That
know,
took over.
the infection coming out of her eye from
And then
Malachi Black.
she basically took over the group because all of them died. She had to bury them and unbury them.
Hey, they're Brody.
Doesn't
Break
she?
your hand.
Doesn't she just feel like an Alexa Bliss rip?
No. It's done way better.
No, I can't say it's an Alexa Bliss ripoff because she doesn't have magical powers yet.
Yet.
Yes.
I gave this match 4. You gave it 3.5. It was a great, solid match.
I gave it a 4. I still say this is like a 3. This is a pretty bland, okay match. I mean, it was cool to see Statlander do the pickup side spin powerbomb thing, or whatever it is that she does. I thought that was pretty cool. I like Statlander. It's just once they got past the entrances, it was a women's match, and no one cared.
Well, it would have been a 2.5, but Hart looked really good. Joey, next.
I'll jump mine down to 3.5. But okay, so there was a lot of matches.
It's very easy to sway his opinion.
Lucha Brothers.
MJF had a match equivalent to a WrestleMania match.
Lucha Brothers versus Hook and Orange Cassidy versus the Guns versus the Young Bucks.
This is when I tried to start my CM Punk chant at the Young Bucks, and it died a death.
So, I think it's great, not great, but I think it's kind of ironic that in the last 3 pay-per-views, one of the members of the Lucha Brothers has injured a member of the roster. 3 pay-per-views in a row, they have injured somebody. And in this one, they injured themselves. They are 4 for 4 for injuries in pay-per-views.
What happened with Ray? Because I saw him hit with his arm or something, and then I saw him roll out, and this was like in the first 90 seconds of the match, and then he never came back.
Well, on our side of the ring, the hype man like ran over and grabbed the
Yeah,
doc.
I saw him.
He broke character, grabbed the doc, and said, "You come over here now."
Yeah.
And then
Because I saw the transition move from my end really good, but I don't know how he hit, or if he like landed on the elbow or the shoulder or something. But as soon as I saw him hit, I just saw him grab and just go right out of the ring.
And then he didn't somebody didn't have to pick him up and dump him on his head again
To get him out.
to get him out of the ring.
Calm down.
Sorry.
A little bit of spit on coat.
I don't think he got hurt. Because who was his tag team partner?
It's Penta LZ.
Yeah. So he had some pretty good spots in the middle of the match that looked like they were kind of pre-planned out, that they wouldn't have been if it was
No,
I don't know.
both of them.
Penta is
Those were some, Penta's really good at covering, and there
Penta's
was
the Bucks have had a lot of good matches.
Yes, there was
Good
an
matches.
awesome moment where Penta just ran to the other side of the apron and just made a tag, and everybody was like, "You're not in the right corner," which, again,
Nobody was in the right
there were
corner.
moments of this match where you just don't know who the legal person is. You know, it was a spot monkey fest, which is fine. What amazed me is I haven't seen the Bucks since TNA, and out of all the piss that I take out of them, and everyone else does, which is fine too, their ability to move in the ring is really spectacular. And what I mean by that is there was a spot early on where I think it was Maddie came up and hit like the middle turnbuckle, and then he stepped off of it and caught his other foot and pushed himself facing the opposite direction when he did it. And he did it so good, so crisp, so fast. I never saw his opposite foot touch the rope, but I know it did because I saw the rope bounce. So watching the Bucks, they have a very good craft. I cannot take away their athleticism for it, but they got CM Punk fired, so fuck that.
I gave it a 2.5. You gave it 2 3/4.
This is probably 2.5. It was nothing spectacular. Orange Cassidy was angry from the start.
Oh yeah, Orange Cassidy was not himself.
Hook suplexes looked really, really good.
My God, Hook looked 12.
I liked Hooks.
No, I'm just saying he just physically looks like he's 12. Like he looks younger in person than he does when he's on TV.
He's smaller and he has the body of like Canelo. Like, you know, he has a boxer's body, which makes boxing shorts make sense, but he has a great physicality for him, and he's just deceptively strong.
Yeah.
He's like Shorty G. He's just so deceptively strong.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy did not was not Orange Cassidy in this match. He didn't do a single Orange Cassidy thing.
No, he really didn't do an Orange Cassidy spot. We didn't get the hands in the pants. Like, he literally started the match, came in, and took the wrist tape off and just started punching, which I thought was a good thing for him, except for the setup to the match was, you want to do a tag match together? Hook? That sounds fun. Like,
all right.
Two quick thoughts. One, I love the blank entrance that Hook gets. Just the bare minimum $1.95 from Walmart entrance.
Yeah.
And then I hate the Young Bucks. I hope they go to WWE, so then WWE will split them up, make them feud with each other, and then banish them off to NXT for the rest of their lives. Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, no, they renewed their contract for big money for multiple years.
So the next match,
I can hope.
I'm sorry, could you tell me whose house Key Arena was, or Climate Pledge Arena was tonight?
Swerve got a bigger reaction to Daniel Bryan than tonight.
Yes, he did.
He did.
The crowd was nuts for him tonight.
Yes.
So the setup to the match was Hangman Page was supposed to be the good guy, and Swerve was supposed to be the
He
bad
had
guy.
to work heel. Hangman had to work heel and antagonize the crowd because he was not winning them over with anything.
And there were points in the match where he just like had this look like, aren't I the good guy?
I think he's been around long
Yeah.
enough. You know what you're walking into. I think it was more like, holy shit, this guy's over here.
Swerve.
was massive.
There's only one person on this card that was more over than Swerve. We'll get to that at the end.
No, that was a good match. I'll definitely give that a good 3/4. That was a really, really good match.
So it was Swerve versus Hangman Page, as we said. Swerve came out on top. I gave it 4 1/4. You gave it 4 1/2. Yeah.
I thought what made it such a good match was the crowd. Like, I thought the match itself was fine, but the amount of energy in that building for Swerve, and how, like, you could tell it was annoying Hangman Page that, that he was being booed,
So the Bremen experience.
and yeah.
He broke out every move that Hangman does for a big match spot. No one cared.
Yeah, nobody cared. It was great. It was great.
This part of Powerbomb Weekly being brought to you by a helicopter.
Oh, at this point, too, we did see Sean Kemp, former Seattle Supersonic power forward. Sean Kemp was there.
I felt so bad watching him walk across the arena. The man could not walk.
No, that's when you're 9 feet tall and you play basketball, your knees are shot.
Yeah, like he was
Swerve
hobbling.
Swerve did win with a cheap move, bashing him upside the head with Shanae's crown, which wasn't needed.
No, it was the belt, wasn't it?
No, it was the crown.
Was it the crown? Oh, it was the crown. Okay.
But the other great thing is on our side of the ring, because we were sitting on the hard cam side, so we could see the people in the audience that were being recorded. There was 90% of the crowd was doing a little dance with Prince Nane.
Yeah, that everybody was for
Every
Swerve.
white person in the crowd was doing this.
They were more over for
And
him than Darby.
so-
They were more over on him than Sting. They were more over on him than
Nick
Daniel
and
Bryan. Yeah.
Swerve is a star, and we've said that for a very long time, going back to his NXT days. We've said it. I mean, when he got signed from Defy to NXT, we were like, okay, this will be good. And watching him tonight, and he's also, you can tell he's bigger too.
Oh yeah,
He's definitely put on a lot of size since he's come to AEW.
his swagger, as that was the word you
Yeah,
used.
his swagger has picked up a little bit. I think
Yeah.
he's in a good position right now where he can easily move up the card. And
You've got Prince Nane dancing around like a fool. You've got Brian
You have
Cage
Brian
being
Cage.
his muscle behind him.
Yeah.
And he just
Brian
comes out in
Cage
his
is
jacket like, it's my house.
Yeah, Swerve was very comfortable tonight, and he did good. And
Yeah. So then,
amazing.
and then after everything, after all of that energy, after that amazing match, all the energy in the show, they took the entire arena to a screeching halt, according to you, because I went to the bathroom. Because we next get Ricky Starks versus
You know what is funny about that when that happened?
Ricky Starks versus
the girl behind me, who I guess had somehow made friends with the people who were sitting beside me. She goes, "Is this the everyone goes to the bathroom match?" Because it was just droves of people going to the bathroom. I wish that I would have gone to the bathroom because there was a lot of liquid expelled at the end.
I will say this: I think it was very loud. Thank you. I think it was purposefully that they booked that match where they did, because I think they knew that the energy was going to be so high that you were going to have a filler.
I can tell you that the entire causeway out where the bathrooms were and the merch shop were full because I was in it.
The problem is that Yuta's just not over. And he's not bad. And if he was 20% more of a human, he probably would be a lot more believable in what he does. But he's got a bland personality, he has a bland face, he has a bland set of stuff that he does.
You know who he reminds me of?
Not over.
Lance Storm, personality-wise. He's like Lance Storm.
I would, and I love Lance Storm. I've met Lance Storm a few times. He's a wonderful Canadian. Don't hold that against him. But for Wheeler Yuta, he just has nothing other than his athleticism going for him, and you have to have more in this business.
So I left at the beginning of the match and got back to the seat at the exact end of the match, so I didn't rank this match. Kevin, you gave it 2 1/4 stars.
Yeah, I wish I could take it down even less than that now.
You can.
Yeah, like 1 3/4.
I can't say it was a 1-star match because they didn't botch anything. There was no mistakes for it. It was just the crowd was dead, and they didn't really. Ricky Starks has a good set of stuff that he does. He did the top rope walk, which is good, but he almost has that overproduced quality to him, where it's, okay, now it's time for me to do the thing, and now it's time for me to do the thing, and the thing, it's like, that flow just did not work.
We're moving.
It's very important.
We're going to pause this so we can get the emergency lesson out of the way. Stay tuned. This is Powerbomb Weekly on the Washington State Ferry Radio Network.
And we're back. No, sorry,
That's my job.
That's your job. That's your job.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're back on Powerbomb Weekly with Joey and the great wrestling aficionado.
You have 20% left in your bag.
Shut up! Don't interrupt his intro. The Michael Burdett. Okay, go ahead.
See, we haven't done this for so long. Joey's trying to get all of your shit. You can't get all of your shit in, man. What? Sunset Flip. Get the fuck out of there, man. Calm down.
All right. So the next match was supposed to be.
Joey's reminded me a lot of that guy that Luchasaurus just squashed. Now, you're like Luchasaurus, and he's like
Nick Wayne.
Zach Gowen was who I was talking about. Remember Zach Gowen with the one leg? Yeah. All right.
So this was supposed to be, in many people's minds, the best match of the night. Daniel Bryan versus
Zack Sabre Jr.
Did not live up to the hype I was hoping it was going to from me.
I kind of feel the same.
It was a very technical match, but that also made it a very slow match.
It was really odd that this was a Ring of Honor match from 15 years ago that would have torn the roof off the place. Unfortunately, we've seen more since then, and I think because of that, it just kind of had an feeling. Also, because of that, there was a lot of people who tried to get you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in, and only 50 people on my side knew that chant. And it was just nobody knew the Daniel Bryan stuff outside of the WWE yes moments or the kicks and stuff. And I thought their transitions was good. Looking at it was amazing. For Bryan,
the joint manipulations were cringeworthy.
I understand why Daniel Bryan's considered one of the greatest in the world. I've watched Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I forget his name. Mrs. Brie Bella. Is that the one? Is it Brie?
Yeah, he's married to Brie.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Brie Bella. But what I'm getting at is that when you watch him and the way he moves in that ring and his transitions is absolutely spot on, amazing for what that guy can do. And he's been doing it so long at such a high level. But much like this card I'm talking about, I've seen that match in WWE. I've seen that match in Ring of Honor. And if you're going to say, hey, I am on a ticking clock right now, and that clock is getting more towards the north end as opposed towards the other end of it,
because you don't have the crowd that gets super rowdy and they just politely clap and everything like that. And they are used to that kind of wrestling. But yeah,
I don't know, the crowd was kind of into it for the most part, but it wasn't like they weren't losing their minds, which made it sad because that's what a pure wrestling match should look like.
There was a couple of "This is wrestling" chants that started.
Yeah, people chanted "This is wrestling," and there were definitely sections like when he did the double underhook suplex off the top. You know, that was right in front of my section and probably on the cam at that point. But it was a very, very good match that just didn't translate well for some reason to that audience.
So I gave it a 3. Kevin, you gave it a 3 3/4 or 3 1/4?
3 1/4.
3 1/4. I had it was tedious and
It's not
slow,
tedious. Wasn't
but it
that
was also the joint manipulation looked painful. Like I cringed.
Yes.
Like, oh, that looks like that hurt.
These guys had a great match.
Yeah, they had a lot of chant. You're a sick F.
Yeah.
Some of the things.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great match, but it wasn't spectacular.
I expected more spots for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah,
But that wasn't the match that he was doing.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I would have expected a couple more spots for him.
they had a very British style. If anybody
Yeah.
knows the British
Breath,
style.
bro. So I think we're gonna have. This is where we might fight. So next we have the Callis family versus Omega, Jericho, and Ibushi. The
So-
Golden Lovers and Jericho versus the Callis
So
family.
I want to. Interesting that you brought that up just now because I want to talk about that. There was a large section of people making very homosexual style remarks during the Sabre Jr. and Bryan match about they were chanting. They were like, oh, get off of me, that's not legal, and stuff like that. Not like in a wrestling move, but just very like, oh, you're trying to stick your finger in him and stuff. And then those same group of people were chanting "Golden Lovers" for me. And I was like, really? I was like, they're playing an angle up that you guys are all about that, but that guy's having a real wrestling match, and you're gonna make a finger in the hole joke.
And a super, super, super heel move. So Kevin and I, who are regular churchgoers, Don Callis family comes out to a painting of
The Last Supper with Don Callis in the role of Jesus.
Which is absolutely awesome.
I got a
thought
picture.
that
We'll
was
put on the page.
That graphic was, and
Amazing.
so he's like, I bet that Ospreay is going to betray him. And so the first thing we did is we looked up at what place on the table is Judas to see if it was a giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
But Judas was actually, his position was blurred out. So
I mean, I thought Jericho would betray him because Judas. I thought that because him and Kenny have had a long-standing rivalry before. They kind of just got thrown together for this, show. But I definitely thought Jericho would do that just because Jericho's super over, and I'll admit it, I sang the damn song because you
had to.
You had to. And what was interesting is, much like Daddy Ass, Jericho knew he's so good at being a veteran. He was hamming up with the crowd. He knew where to be during the stuff. He knew how to get out of the way of spots. He knew where to put people for spots. I'm not trying to deconstruct this like a smart mark or anything. Be like, oh, well, he was working him, or oh, he was selling and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is just Jericho is moving. He's always moving positions properly when he's in the ring, and it's just amazing to see. Despite the ham that he will eventually give birth to at some point, that is his belly now, is still great.
But he's lost about 20 pounds.
But he has lost some weight. What amazed me though is, Jesus Christ, how fast is Will Ospreay?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen Will Ospreay live. If I have, it was
No.
a very, very long time ago. He is so fast, like lightning fast, and he's always in the right spot, and he's not there before he's supposed to be, but he is there exactly when he is supposed to be, or when somebody else is supposed to. I am amazed at what he can do, and Will Ospreay might be the best in the world right now.
So, what do you rank this match? I've been giving you my ranks first. I want yours.
Honestly, I would still say that this was a good 3 3/4 style match because They had some funny spots. They had some good spots. They did the typical spots. I'm not going to shit all over Omega because watching him do his thing, much if I'm going to praise Jericho, then I have to praise him for what he did. I wish Kenny Omega was not Omega to be that athletically gifted. Because he's amazing to watch, but he's just, you know.
This, to this point, was the best match of the night.
I will say the spot, this is why I can't say that. They had a lot of joke spots. And this is supposed to be the...
I don't remember a lot of joke spots.
Oh, you're talking about the train, abdominal stretch arm going on?
Okay,
and then Aubrey going over, and Aubrey has to have her... By the way, all of the AEW refs are terrible. The New Japan refs that they had for a couple spots were great. They knew exactly where to stand to get the fuck out of the way.
I love Aubrey.
Everybody
All
else is
right,
terrible.
we have to hurry up. We're going to lose battery here. Let's.
Okay, so I gave it.
I will say I'm waiting for the Omega Jericho Walker match.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead.
They'll split it.
So I gave it 4, and I gave it 4.5. You gave it 4.
The man got stabbed in the head with a screwdriver, and they were doing comedy through half the match.
Okay. The next match was FTR versus the Aussie.
Forgettable.
Huh?
Forgettable.
Yeah.
Like it was just a normal tag match.
You gave it 4. You gave it 4.
I don't think I gave it 4 stars.
That was a fucking cool match. And
It was
definitely
too long.
It was awesome.
It was too long.
All right, get to the main event. Nobody cares about FTR. Get to the main event for the battery dice.
Huh?
Get to the main event for the battery dice.
Okay.
Wait a minute, it was fucking awesome. Go watch FTR and Aussie Open. It was great.
So Christian versus Darby Allin, 2 out of 3 falls.
We'll skip to the fast point. Darby hockey jerseyed him and
Won.
beat him, and then Christian
Killed him on the
Killed him.
stairs.
I think he broke his arm. I would not be surprised if he broke his arm.
Killed him on the stairs.
He killed. Well,
Outside the ring.
I don't know if the transition, what it looked like on camera, because I tried to look up to see it because it was down on the other side from where I was at. But it looked like Christian went to pick him up one way and didn't get him up. And I don't know if he couldn't get him up where he was at, or if he was not supposed to get him up. And then he rotated him around and just threw the motherfucker into the steel steps.
So then he won by 10 count. Then they were putting him on a gurney. Christian decided to frog splash him from the ring post while he was laying on the gurney.
After,
Cool spot.
meanwhile, Christian had gone around the ring and ripped up all of the supporting mat and pulled it all and exposed the hardwood floor. That is
Kevin
the
and I
mat.
saw the ring crew crawl under the ring to help him loosen it.
Well, yeah, I mean, these things are done for time like we're trying to do right now.
Don't rip the Band-Aid off the kayfabe. Go ahead.
And so it was much like the Gargano Ciampa match from NXT. There, that amazing thing. And then he killed him again.
And then he killed him again. And holy
won.
crap, he killed him. And then
Everybody's-
Buddy Wayne comes out.
And then Luchasaurus came out. And then Sting came out.
Oh no, wait. Buddy Wayne comes out. And Buddy Wayne betrays his buddy Darby from Defy. And Christian gets the count, so he wins the 2 out of the 3 falls match. And then Buddy Wayne kills him. And then Luchasaurus kills him.
And
Then Sting comes out, and Sting did not get as big of a pop as what I thought because everyone was waiting.
Yeah, I think when Sting came out, people were disappointed.
Yeah,
They're like,
I think people were just like,
oh, it's just Sting.
It's just Sting. It's just the 68-year-old icon Sting who dies
Some of us during the match had seen them setting up the pyro and setting up the cameras.
They also, yes, because they had moved the camp. Because I had a guy beside me who was just like, "That's it," and I was like, "No, look at the ramp." I was like, "Somebody's coming, right?" So then the arena goes black and everybody blows, and then we get a vignette of a Mustang car driving
through
Seattle over top of a ramp that says rated R, and everybody goes nuts. And then bang, 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 bang. On this day, Adam
You think you know me?
Yeah. Adam Copeland, Edge, the former WWE multi-world time champion, comes out to a earth-shattering. I mean, literally, the floor is vibrating. It's awesome. It's great. He comes down, and he gets in the ring, and Christian's like, and he's like, hey, you know what? You got Sting beat down here. Give me the chair. I'm going to do the concerto. You know, we're back together, right? Probably could have drawn and he takes the chair and he hits
Buddy
Wayne, and then cracks Luchasaurus, and Christian gets the fuck out of the ring, and Edge celebrates and shakes hands with Darby, shakes hands with Sting, and then he gets up and walks all the way around the arena,
Kisses the babies.
diving, and
So-
they threw the babies in the air, as they say. The popcorn went everywhere. Everybody
Christian-
went nuts. Everybody sang the
Christian
song.
versus Dead Darby. I gave it 4.5. You gave it 4 3/4. You thought it was the best match of the night.
I did.
I don't know if I want to go super high. Like, what's over 3.5?
3 3/4.
I think for me it's expectation, right? Like I didn't expect it to be a world beater, like best of all time match.
I can't give it a 4-star match because it just wasn't a 4-star match. But it definitely didn't suck. They did some cool stuff. My God, I don't know why Darby insists on
Killing himself for his
I
craft.
don't know why you have a thing where you say, I hurt my back, and then you proceed to take a shit ton of spots on your back. But that's Darby
So
Allin.
3 3/4.
Yeah, 3 3/4 fine. Everybody was on bated breath for Edge.
So this unfortunately, we'll need to conclude our remote live Powerbomb Weekly after party show from WrestleDream. It was a dream. It was a dream to do the show with you again.
Yeah, I know, we should.
And you didn't actually hate everything, which is what we thought was going to happen.
I didn't hate everything. I mean, maybe I was just dickmatized by Adam Copeland coming out. I don't know, but
I think you're the cornet aside.
And
So, it wasn't-
stay tuned to this Facebook page for the return of Powerbomb Weekly.
yeah, stay tuned. Bye.
Any parting shots? Remember, tonight's broadcast brought to you by Kids Have Great Escape, home of the new Halloween room.
And Kitsap Comics and Games, located in the mall, formerly known as Avalon Comics.
Great place, but they need more Funkos. Good night, everybody.